Vice President Joe Biden joins us now from his official residence in Washington. Mr. Vice President, good morning.
Good morning, Harry. How are you?
I'm well. We listened with interest to the President's State of the Union address last night. The headline on the front of USA Today says, "We face a deficit of trust." A deficit of trust. Who do you think is most responsible for that deficit of trust, Mr. Vice President?
I think all the institutions are responsible for the deficit of trust. The fact of the matter is it's not new, but it's disappointing that faced with the kind of crisis we were faced with last January as we came into office, there wasn't more coming together. It's disappointing to me, having served in the Senate for a long time, to find the Republicans deciding that they're just going to obstruct, requiring 60 votes on every single thing that's out there. Basically every important initiative. That's a supermajority. I don't recall that happening before. And it appears as though there is a sense that the only way they can win is if, quote, we lose, but the country's losing in the meantime. So I think but it's more than that. It's influence, it's deals being cut, it's lobbyists, it's a whole range of things that make people think they don't control their government.
Deals being cut, for instance, when the Senate closes its doors to the Republicans and says, how do we have to make a deal? Let's make a deal in order to get the health care bill passed?
Well, look, after 6 months of Harry saying, please, any Republican, please come in the door, do something positive, join us. There are only 3 Republicans I know that seriously considered engaging in the health care debate. And after a while, when there were 57, 58 votes for almost every single thing we proposed, at least 51 votes. And the idea is we have to get 60, Harry. At some point, when you find out the neighbor's not going to come over and help you, say, okay, let's settle this in the family, man. We got to get something done. The house is on fire.
Let me ask you this. You have the best seat in the House last night. You got a chance to gauge all of the reaction. Did you get a sense from listening to the speech and watching your old friends across the aisle that there will be a new sense of cooperation starting this morning?
Well, I'm an eternal optimist. I didn't get it from the reaction. The one thing I did find that there was a reaction to was most of what he said on foreign policy, most of what he said on the idea of helping small businesses and creating jobs. So that was positive. I didn't see much of a reaction on a number of other things the president talked about. What really disappointed us both, the president and I, the president had supported this proposal by a group of Republicans and Democrats to set up a commission to deal with the long-term debt. Everybody talks about you have to do something about Social Security and Medicare, and we do. And I was in the deal last time with Bob Dole 20-some years ago. Bob Dole, George Mitchell, where we settled for 30 years Social Security, and we all worked together. And it was really disappointing that 7 of the Republican co-sponsors of that proposal yesterday voted against it. And then when the president talked about the kind of things we have to do to take responsibility for what we did to add to the debt and what they did to add to the debt previously, there didn't seem to be much of a reaction. But, you know, this is a little bit of theater, and I'm hoping, I know there's a core of Republican senators who want to work on this with us.
All right. Mr. Vice President, thank you for the time this morning. Do appreciate it, sir.
Thanks an awful lot, Harry.
All right.